Hi, everyone. I am Dr. Angel, and I am passionate about women's health, even when you're traveling. So that's why I'm here today. I just wanted you to see my face before we get started, and I'm going to share my screen now, and we are going to talk about the wellness passport, your ticket to staying healthy during this time. So here we go. It's time of traveling. So I am a naturopath and a board certified doctor of natural medicine. However, I'm not a medical doctor nor a psychiatrist, and the views of this workshop are my own. Do not make any changes with your medications or supplements without speaking to your healthcare provider, and these statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. Well, who am I? I am Dr. Angel Hill. I'm a naturopath with more than a dozen years experience in natural health, and I've had over 7,000 clients in the last 14 years. If you want to know about all my certifications and degrees, you can go to LinkedIn. At the end, I'll have my LinkedIn information for you. And I have an online program called Alternative Health with Angel. But today we are talking about travel. So our agenda is we're going to talk about keeping that circadian rhythm where it needs to be while you're traveling and how that affects jet lag. We're going to talk about some electrolytes and how that can help you, some protein snack ideas, some homeopathic and supplement ideas, and then some special things about airplanes, some special ideas about that. So to kick it off, let's talk about circadian rhythm. And by the way, you want your circadian rhythm balanced whether you're traveling or not. And so you want to keep those same sleep and wake times no matter what you're doing. That really helps your body get in tune to when it's supposed to go to bed and when it's supposed to wake up. If you're constantly going to bed at different times, your body doesn't know what's happening. Now, something that I love people to do every day, no matter what, is to go out and look at the sun in the morning. But when you're on vacation, you can definitely do that, right? You can take a moment, walk outside, see the sun. When you check the sun out a couple of times a day, it really helps these receptors in our brain figure out where we're supposed to be. And we're going to talk about that a little bit more in the jet lag section next. You also want to plan activities that are really active for earlier in the day and more passive activities for towards the end of the day. And the reason you want to do this is that cortisol, which is the hormone that our adrenals produce, it needs to be high in the morning and low at night. That helps us get up in the morning and helps us go to sleep at night, right? And if we plan really active things to do later in the day, that's going to get our cortisol up. It's going to think it's early in the morning and we're active and wanting to do things. And so that could keep us from sleeping. So maybe plan those walking tours for the morning and maybe more of the things that you're sitting around and doing less activity for later in the day to help that circadian rhythm. Now, for jet lag, going across time zone, that's a tough one. It's a tough one for me. You want to make sure you're eating your meals and going to bed at the same time in your destination, not where your home is. Okay. So just keep that in mind. If it's 9 o'clock and that's bedtime where you're at, you need to go to bed, even if you're not tired. You want to avoid the urge to nap. That'll help you sleep at night as well. Just don't nap during the day. Just sleep at night. That'll really help for jet lag. Now you also get really dehydrated, particularly when you're going on planes on long distances. So, but hydration is actually what helps manage jet lag symptoms and fatigue. So really, take your water bottle with you, like I got here. Take that with you, empty. When you get on the airplane, and then you can fill it up after you go through everything. But definitely try to stay hydrated. That is one of the best things you can do for yourself. And again, look at the sky morning, noon, and night, like we talked about earlier. So we literally have receptors in our brain that want to know what time of day it is. So they know when to produce certain hormones like melatonin for us to go to sleep, right? Well, we're all inside all the time. So our brain really, that's why it causes a lot of sleep issues. It doesn't know where we're at. So while in jet lag in particular, it gets all messed up because we're in a whole different place, right? So make sure during the day you're on vacation, you have time to do this morning, noon, and night. Go outside. Even if it's raining, you can look out a window. Let your brain know what time of day it is. And say you do all these things and you still have issues going to sleep. Well, what you may want to do is try melatonin at this point. Up to about 5 grams of melatonin milligrams, should be fine. It should help you get to sleep and take it about 30 minutes before you go to bed. And if you can, try to stay off your phone and other things unless you have some blue blockers, because that's going to tell the body, don't use this melatonin. You don't need the melatonin because we got all this light coming towards us. So, something that's really helpful for everybody, this could be your kids as well, if you're taking them along with you, is make electrolytes your first drink of the day. Electrolytes actually spark plug our hormones. And when that happens, everything goes well for the day. And we don't really think about our hormones through the day, but insulin is a hormone. Cortisol is a hormone. Cortisol is our energy hormone. Insulin is our blood sugar hormone. So these things are actually making our mood good or not so good. And what electrolytes do is they support that healthy brain function, improve our exercise performance. A lot of us exercise actually more when we're on vacation, or we're doing more exercise because we're moving on vacation. Healthy blood pressure, help with mood issues. We do not want to be moody when we're on a vacation, right? Support a strong immune system. That's what this whole thing is about, is staying healthy while you're traveling. And encourage those healthy hormone levels. Again, insulin is a hormone and we want it balanced when we're on our vacation, because otherwise we're going to feel miserable. And this is a great thing to do, whether you're on vacation or not, is get those electrolytes first thing, drink of the day. Usually they come in powders, so it's easy to travel with. You can even get single-use powders, and my daughter does that a lot. Now, oops, sorry, let's get back to here. So we also want to balance our blood sugar. If I had a magic wand, I would ask that everyone eat 15 to 30 grams of protein in the morning for breakfast. It is so important to balance our blood sugar for the day. When we eat carbs and sugar for breakfast, you're going to see in a second what that looks like, but it's a roller coaster and it's not good for anybody. It doesn't help us. You also want to avoid those liquid sugars. Save your calories for the real food. That's sweet tea, soda, alcohol, all are really tough on our blood sugar. But I know you're on vacation. So if you do want to drink or eat something that's sweet, pair it with protein, okay? Make sure you keep that insulin spike just a little less. When you put it with protein, it makes it a little less, or fat. You could do like an avocado or something. So like maybe a margarita and an avocado. Um, if you are somebody who really is concerned about your blood sugar and you're noticing after you eat things are happening, definitely go for a walk after 10 minutes for after your meals. That has been shown to really help bring those blood sugar levels down. And I always tell people to pick one meal a day to indulge in while you're on vacation. You don't have to eat a ton at every meal. Pick one meal that really go at it. And then maybe if you can't eat all of that, save that for the next day and you can have that for breakfast, right? So this is that blood sugar roller coaster that we were talking about. What happens when you do not eat protein? If you notice, there's spikes, 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 and crashes, crashes, crashes. We don't want those. These roller coasters cause hangry moments, mood swings, sugar cravings, energy crashes, depression. We do not want any of that. And if you notice here, that's all started at the bottom here. It started with somebody eating a sugary, carby breakfast. Okay. So we want to be in between these green lines. We don't want to be the red lines. So here's some ideas for low carb snacks and some days of proteins and stuff. So some of these snacks are really good for travel too, like nuts and seeds. If you're a woman who is cycling, seeds, sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds, flax seeds, those are all really good for seed cycling. If that's something you're interested in to get your hormones balanced, reach out to me at the end. I'll have my information to reach out to me, but those are great to have on as snacks as well. Another snack that I love that people really don't think about is olives. I love olives, and they got such good healthy fat in them. So you can eat a cup of olives, that's under 15 grams of carbs. It's a fat. It's really good for you. Something else I love to do is avocados. They come in their own package, right? So you can cut open avocado. What I like to do is I cut up that avocado, I put it in a little bowl, I smush it up like it's guacamole. I'll put a little salt and lemon juice on there, and then I use like carrots and cauliflower as my dip. Love to do that. Cucumbers is another thing I'll put with it. So that's a really easy thing to do. Now, some of these at the bottom I really like, but they're kind of smelly. So like hard-boiled eggs and egg salad and tuna salad, you're not going to want to bring those on a plane with you. Too smelly. But they're good if you want to have them in your room or something like that. You can even have a half a grapefruit. That's probably what I'm going to do. I'm going to probably have a protein shake and a grapefruit after I'm done here with y'all as a little snack. Something else is hummus. Hummus travels really well, I find. I'm personally have been making black bean hummus lately. Really enjoying that. Again, you can use your veggies as a dip for it. Sometimes I just eat it with a spoon. Now, when we're talking about the day of protein, you want, like I said, 15 to 30 grams at each meal. especially at breakfast. And let's talk about breakfast. Breakfast is a marketing idea. The fact that you're supposed to eat certain things at breakfast started in the early 1900s because they wanted to market breakfast food. So you can eat anything you want for breakfast. It does not have to be eggs, bacon, or cereal. And by the way, cereal is the last thing you want to eat for breakfast. It is not healthy. It's not going to do anything for you. Let's put it that way. If you want cereal, if you like the taste of cereal, eat it at night. But for breakfast, you're going to want protein and fat. So think about eggs and bacon, eggs and sausage. Same thing for lunch. A lot of people like to have salads for lunch, so throw some protein on that salad. I actually do that at nights. 2 nights a week, my husband and I will have what we call our big salad night, and we have protein on it and love doing that. And dinner seems to be when everybody gets those proteins. So if you're on vacation and you're eating, say, a great meal out for dinner, you just can't eat enough of it, take it back if you have somewhere to put it, take it back with you, put it in the refrigerator, and eat it the next morning for breakfast. Now, my husband and I have started staying in Airbnbs a lot, and we make sure they have a decent kitchen. So you can do things like having a little air fryer in the kitchen and heat things up. Or you can cook up an egg and throw it on your last night's dinner. I do that all the time. Gives me a little extra protein if I ate most of the protein from the night before. So just keep these ideas in mind. Once you get used to eating nutrient dense foods, you really notice a difference, and you're not going to want to go to those things like chips and candy and stuff like that because your body doesn't respond to that well. It responds to good nutrient dense foods. Now, a quick note about coffee. It can be a liquid sugar if you put sugar in it. So be careful about that. But when you drink coffee alone, it raises blood sugar. So, excuse me, you're going to want to do protein and a bit of fat to keep that insulin spike lower with coffee as well. And hopefully, if you're doing your electrolytes and you're keeping that blood sugar stable, you may notice that you don't need as much coffee because you're not going to need as much energy. You're going to have natural energy, which is really nice, especially if you can get that sleep under control while you're traveling. Now, I said all these things before because I believe in the hormone hierarchy. In a second, we're going to go into some supplements that are really awesome and easy to carry with you when we travel. But I wanted to mention this hormone hierarchy so you understand why I said all those things before. So, as you see in the hormone hierarchy, minerals actually spark the hormones, as we started out earlier. But the hormone hierarchy is the cortisol to the sex hormones. So, cortisol is the base hormone, then insulin, thyroid, and sex hormones. And think about this, if the cortisol isn't balanced, then the sex hormones can't be balanced. If the insulin isn't balanced, then the thyroid can't be balanced. So basically, cortisol has to be balanced, insulin has to be balanced. We have to have all these balanced before we even get to the sex hormones. So those first two, that cortisol and those insulin, those are things that we can work on every single day to balance our hormones, whether we're on vacation or not. And they really make a difference in our energy and just how we feel. So those are why I recommended what I did for those while you're on vacation, because those can make a difference in the same day. Now, if you're having thyroid or sex hormone issues, that's going to obviously take longer to fix permanently, but those cortisol and insulin, just by getting those balanced in one day, you can really notice a difference and have a good, healthy, fun trip instead of being all moody and not wanting to do things or having to take naps all the time instead of really enjoying yourself. So now I wanted to talk about some really easy homeopathics that you can take with you. So homeopathics, if you look in the picture there, you can see they're just little pellets and they're really easy to carry. They come in these really tiny tubes that you keep in your pocket. You can put it in your purse, just really easy to handle. This one, diarrhea, is great if you're having diarrhea, vomiting, nausea, bloating. Keep in mind that supplement companies have to be really careful what they put on their label. So, I mean, this one fortunately says diarrhea relief on it, but sometimes you don't get that. You don't really know what it's for. So, for instance, Apis probably won't say this on there, but it's phenomenal for bug bites. So if you're going somewhere where they're known for bugs, that is definitely something you're going to want to carry with you. I carry Apis everywhere with me. It's in my house. It's at the place I used to work. It's in my travel bag. I get bit constantly, but if I take Apis, try to take it immediately after I get bit, within minutes, the bug bite goes down. I'm not itching as much. It's really awesome. Now, arnica, you've probably heard of. It's probably one of those popular homeopathics. It can be used for any type of injury. So say you twist your ankle or anything like that, you hurt your hand, anything that's happening, fall down or something, it's really good for that. So keep that in mind. And something else, I extremely get motion sickness really, really badly. So Motion Calm by Boron is a really good one for that. And it's for any kind of motion sickness. This can be car motion sickness, airplane motion sickness, ships. On ships, we get motion sick. So think about that. That is definitely something. Homeopathics are really easy. You can take them on a plane if you're not checking your bags. Just a real easy something to do. And there's multiple homeopathics. Just a few. So if you have a particular issue that happens to you while you travel and you want to know more about that, let me know and I can help you find one. Some other supplements for travel. One of my favorite is theanine. Theanine is an amino acid that comes from green tea. It's extremely safe. Kids can take it, pregnant women can take it. It can be taken with any kind of medications. It's great for anxiety. Within 15 minutes of taking it, it's the difference. I probably already said that. I'll say it again. It's literally my favorite supplement. Now, if you cannot get a hold of theanine, and by the way, theanine comes in a chewable. So I have literally at times, since I am an anxious traveler when I fly, I will put it in a Ziploc bag and throw it in my purse and it looks like candy. I've taken tons of them doing that. So keep that in mind. But if you do not have access to theanine or something else that helps you when you're calm, try 3 deep breaths. It is amazing what 3 deep breaths can do. Okay, so what happens when we take 3 deep breaths? It tells our adrenal glands, which produce those cortisol, the hormone that we talked about earlier, it tells it to calm that down. When we're anxious, our cortisol goes crazy. And those 3 deep breaths say, hey, quit pushing out that cortisol. Let's relax. Let's get it calmed down. So it is amazing what 3 breaths can do anytime, any day, whether you're traveling or not. If you feel like that looks weird, go in the bathroom and do it, but really is helpful. Something else that I actually do every day, but it's really good when you travel, is I spray my nose. If you think about the nose, it is the beginning of a respiratory system, right? We're all should not be mouth breathers. We should be nose breathers. So that means everything's coming in through the nose. So there is a xylitol nasal spray that I really like called Xlear, Xlear up there. It is one I tend to use if I'm not going to see as many people. Xylitol is actually a sugar substitute, but it's phenomenal for dental health. It's really good at clearing out your nasal passages, so highly recommend it. You can also use silver. Silver is a natural antibiotic. I tend to use a silver nasal spray whenever I know that I'm going to bring around a lot more people because it is that natural antibiotic. You can also get silver in a liquid. In a liquid, you use it for anything from like a sick stomach to a sore throat. However, if you're traveling by plane, you will need to be careful. You would have to pack your bags in order to carry that one because they usually don't come small enough to be able to carry on the actual plane. But silver is something I keep around all the time when I travel. I live somewhere where I travel more by car. And I'm constantly taking that. But this winter, I'm going to be traveling to Rochester, New York, and I have already planned as soon as I got there, I'm going to find the closest health food store and get me some silver because I just love to have it around. Now, airplanes are a special deal. And the reason is we've only been flying, what, less than 200 years? And our bodies for millennia were not flying. So our ancestors were not flying, if you know what I'm saying here. So they weren't used to that. So our bodies get really exhausted. They don't understand what's happening when we fly. So one of the things you need to do is make use of those yoga rooms or a quiet space that you can find in airports. Stretch for 5 minutes, get back into your body, ground yourself because flying definitely doesn't ground you, right? You're up in the air, but you want to be grounded. And if you can, if you feel like you look funny, just face the wall then. Don't look at other people. But it is so helpful to take that time while you're in the airport between flights to really ground yourself, calm down. Some people will take off their shoes. I don't know if I do that when everybody's been walking, but I would definitely just try to get into yourself in whatever way you can do that. Now, you want to avoid aisle seats. And this is a really interesting statistic that actually came out from the CDC well before COVID. They did this research and they found that passengers sitting in aisle seats of a plane were more likely to be exposed to an outbreak virus. And they think it's because, first off, people are walking up and down, so you're closer to their face, right? But also, they have a tendency to grab the top of the seat and that spreads germs. And they're going to the bathroom and they may not have washed their hands. So there's all that kind of thing. That's another thing. I always try to avoid using the bathroom when on an airplane. And I take lots of stuff with me if I do. So just keep that in mind. Airplanes are really special because that is not something that we have been doing through millennia. So we just want to make sure our bodies are healthy while we do that. Now, how can I help you balance your hormones? Well, I can do that whether you're traveling or not. What's great about my program is it's online and it's mainly texting. So we get a lot of work done without having to spend a lot of time. I elevate your nutrition. I help you get good nutrient dense food in, which helps you naturally give up that food that isn't as good for you. I also use, which we're going to talk about in the second, ways to identify mineral and hormonal deficiencies, and we use that whole body approach. So if you look at my hormone heaven here, what I first do is I use HTMA, which is hair tissue mineral analysis, and it's included in the program. And it's used by the EPA. And we're using that to find out what minerals you're deficient in and what heavy metals may be hanging out in your hair. And so that we can get rid of those heavy metals and get your mineral status where it needs to be. And if you remember, minerals are what spark the hormones. So we all want to make sure we have those minerals right. That's why it's always a good idea to do an electrolyte in the morning. That gives you your base fundamental minerals of calcium, magnesium, sodium, and potassium. So it gives you a good base to start the day. I work on those adrenals to help you get your energy back, and we work on your sleep. We also work on balancing that blood sugar, as we talked about earlier. That's one of the reasons why I include fasting insulin in my program as well. I find it's a better way than the A1C or the fasting glucose to see where your insulin resistance is. So we can work it up from a root level to find out what's going on. And with fasting insulin, you can find out 5-10 years quicker than you can other ways of what's going on. So we can stop things before they ever get to that diabetes stage. We got to optimize that digestion, including parasites. One of the things about people who travel is they worry about parasites. And I just want you to know parasites are everywhere. They're not just when you travel outside of the States. We have them in the States as well. So parasites are just something we have to deal with as humans. But what our goal is to get that terrain right where the parasites don't want to live in it, right? And if we have them, to get rid of them. But we have to support drainage pathways to do that. And one of the ways to do that is just making sure you're going to the bathroom every day. If you're not going to the bathroom every day, those things aren't coming out. In fact, they're staying in there and causing even more problems. So that's one of the things we work on. And then getting rid of like toxins and molds and things like that. Once all that's done, then we can get in there and really support that thyroid, support those sex hormones, and get you where you need to be. If you're interested in any of this, you can find me at alternativehealthwithangel.com. You can also find me on Facebook and Instagram at Alt Health Angel and LinkedIn at Angel Hill DNM. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. If you have any questions about this video or my program, please get in touch with me. I love talking to people and helping them figure it out. I'm like a detective. I love looking at all the things and finding out what's going on. So I'm going to stop this share right now. And thank you all for joining me. You have my information, and we will stop this video now. Have a good day.